Welcome back to another SCP reading, dear researcher. Today we'll be reading SCP-193, the Tissue Snail. Now without further ado, item number, SCP-193, object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-193-01 is to be contained in Biosite 42 Biohazard Locker 532-F at all times except during approved experiments. Every 24 hours, all instances of SCP-193-02 are to be removed from SCP-193-01 and incinerated except on feeding days. Once each week, one instance of SCP-193-02 shall be provided with 30 cc of human mucus and left in containment with SCP-193-01. Physical contact with any element of SCP-193 without full biohazard gear is strongly discouraged. Personnel believed to be suffering from exposure to SCP-193-03 shall report to a supervisor for immediate medical examination and assistance. Description: SCP-193-01 is consistent in external appearance with a box of redacted brand facial tissues. The bottom folds of the box are abnormally complex and house a previously unknown soft body invertebrate. The creature's genetics suggest that it is a member of phylum Mollusca, but do not match any more specific known taxonomic classification. The cardboard of the box has proven to be a highly specialized shell generated and maintained by the organism, which will gradually repair damage to the box if able. As compared with cardboard, the shell is many times less flammable and more durable, but is by no means indestructible. SCP-193-01 continuously sheds thin segments of its body, instances of SCP-193-02, at a rate of, previously it was written roughly 1, now it is written up to 5 segments per 24 hours depending on available nutrients and remaining space inside the shell. Instances of SCP-193-02 are gradually forced into the main cavity of the shell, where they dry almost instantly. Much as the shell of SCP-193-01 resembles a cardboard box, instances of SCP-193-02 resemble common facial tissues in appearance and texture. However, both the shell and the segments are composed of chitin, fibroin, and other proteins common in mollusks as opposed to the expected paper products. Previously it was written, how SCP-193-01 produces sufficient matter to maintain the shell and continuously generate SCP-193-02 is presently unknown. Now it is written, see Addendum 193-1. When SCP-193-02 is brought into contact with the mucous membranes of any mammalian subject, the segment releases 3 to 5 grams of a yet unidentified odorless, colorless gas, SCP-193-03. If inhaled, SCP-193-03 will permeate the sinus tissues and increase mucus production by 500 to 800%. In humans, the increased mucus production unsurprisingly results in the need for additional facial tissue, typically leading to further exposure to SCP-193-02 and 03, and further mucus production. Repeated exposure to SCP-193-03 can, in roughly 70% of cases, lead to permanent dysfunction of the subject's mucus production. The resulting symptoms vary, but include a variety of respiratory issues, prolonged pneumonia, and, in extreme cases, suffocation. In roughly 10% of the cases of repeated exposure, the opposite effect is observed. Damage to the mucus glands is so severe that the subject is left incapable of mucus production. Such subjects are especially vulnerable to inflammatory respiratory diseases, infection, and damage to the lungs due to inhalation of particulate matter. Previously it was written, no explanation has yet been discovered for the unusual adaptations exhibited at SCP-193. Research is ongoing. Now it is written, Addendum 193-1. As of a redacted date, a Foundation doctor has confirmed additional properties of SCP-193-02. When exposed to at least 10 cc of mucus and left unattended, instances of SCP-193-02 will attempt to return to SCP-193-01 using a combination of bodily oscillation and gas propulsion, via controlled emission of SCP-193-03. The segments appear to detect possible observers via body heat to determine when they can safely return to SCP-193-01 unobserved. This behavior continues in the presence of thoroughly insulated observers, but not in the presence of large artificial heat sources, supporting the theory that SCP-193-02 detects heat. On reaching SCP-193-01, instances of SCP-193-02 will enter through folds in the bottom of the shell, reintegrating with the main body. These behaviors, combined with the previously catalogued adaptations, are believed to be the hunting and feeding method of SCP-193. More detailed research into the digestion and dietary needs of the organism are ongoing. The locomotion of SCP-193-02 was discovered following an irregularity in experiment 193-redacted, in which several of the used tissues were left unattended for several minutes. When the Foundation doctor returned, he discovered that the instances of SCP-193-02 had surrounded the locker holding SCP-193-01, but were unable to penetrate containment. Further experimentation led to the discovery of these previously unknown aspects of the organism. The Foundation doctor has been reprimanded for leaving a known organic SCP unsupervised in a testing chamber. I mean, on one hand, infinite tissues. On the other hand, you die of dehydration and lose the ability to produce mucus, which also means, I believe, you lose some of your sense of smell. I say no. I don't want this. Take it away from me. Don't want it. But thank you very much for coming, dear researchers. It has been an honor reading for you, and good luck out there in the future. You're not going to need it, but I still want you to have it.